Okay, so welcome to another one of our special ABNcasts recorded at this year's Farnborough International Air Show. We're in a quiet enclave within the FDH Aero stand, and I'm joined by Matt Lacki, who is the president of FDH Hardware. So let's start with FDH Hardware, Matt.
Yeah.
What is FDH Hardware and what does it do within the company?
Yeah, so first, it's helpful to understand what FDH is. FDH is a global aerospace and defense distribution business. The business is about half hardware and half electronics.
Okay.
So hardware, think fasteners, bolts, nuts, washers. And then on the electronic side, think connectors, wire and cable, relays, switches, things like that.
Okay.
So I lead the hardware division and again, focused on fasteners and other hardware related products.
Okay. So tell us a bit about what makes FDH and FDH Hardware a kind of a partner of choice to your clients when it comes to them trying to source these critical components.
Yeah, no, I think so. Hardware distribution, obviously, there's a lot of demand in the market right now, and it looks like that is going to continue for some time.
Yeah.
We really differentiate on our level of service. And so we're very easy to work with. We're extremely responsive, and we focus on delivery 24 hours a day. And we think that's very different than our competition. The other thing is we are a product company at heart.
Yeah.
And so we have the deepest bench of expertise in the industry, and we invest in product and we hold product for our customers to help mitigate the challenges between the factories and the OEMs.
Yeah. Procuring, finding, buying and acquiring parts continues to be one of the biggest headaches for all operators out there. What is it that's happening at the minute trying to mitigate those challenges to make it a bit more of a seamless and easy, and actually more I guess more reactive, more agile as well, because it's turnaround times that are critical. Get these.
It's obviously it's been a theme in the industry for the last couple of years, and it's going to continue with very long lead times, and many of the factories completely maxed out their capacity. But I think that's where we add a lot of value. Our strategy is to partner with our suppliers, and to do that, we use their capacity wisely. We aggregate demand, and we try to make the right order quantities that makes their manufacturing efficient. And then we take that and then distribute that to the broader industry. And so it can be a very helpful relationship to use their capacity wisely and then get that product out to our customers. And so it's mutually beneficial for both parties to work together to get the right orders out to the market. And so we can help mitigate those challenges by partnering with our suppliers and really understanding their capacity and the right quantities to manufacture efficiently.
Yeah. I guess often it's about the visibility of what's coming up in the future. And that's right. That's predictive. That's how
that's right.
It's very hard to do. No one has a perfect crystal ball. But you can do a lot of that now. There's a lot of trends out there. There's a lot of data to crunch.
There is, but there's I think the investing in inventory and acting as the buffer in the industry between the OEMs and the subcontractors versus the manufacturers. There's always going to be volatility, and regardless of the data, no one has the crystal ball. And so it's really, really important that we invest in inventory to help that volatility. And sometimes there's a lot of times where you don't actually know in advance. You might need a slightly longer, a slightly wider bolt, and we should have that inventory on the shelf to help our OEM partners. And that is our job, is to have inventory and not.
And when you do get a request for something you don't have, or something that you don't have enough volume of, how quickly is it to turn those things around? Is it getting quicker? We've spoken to a number of manufacturers out there today and yesterday who talked to us about being more agile, being more responsive.
They have challenges. As they have recovered from COVID, now there's more demand than there was. So they're recovering for that. And then as they build capacity, that's actually getting, soaked up by the additional demand that's in the market. So they have a lot of challenges. I think many of them are doing what they can to add capacity and trying to keep up with the OEM. So some of them have had some challenges and have done a really good job when facing those challenges. So
wherever there's demand, you expect supply will meet that demand, because if there's demand, there's money to be made.
That there is, but it's challenging, right? Many of those parts are highly complex. They're very challenging to make. They take labor that is highly skilled.
Yeah.
And so it's not just about machines. It's about the people on the floor and the expertise to make those parts. And it's challenging. I mean,
there are big strategic barriers to entry to this sector. So it's not something we've solved overnight,
correct,
isn't it?
correct.
It's going to be.
It will not be. Yeah.
Do you see that now being a new normal that the industry will? I mean, I guess what COVID did is expose long in terms of even geographical supply chains. There was a degree, well, let's start to nearshore somewhat. But again, if you haven't got the capacity nearshore, it's not much you can do about that. So
yeah, I mean, there certainly are newer sources, but small compared to the big manufacturers.
Yeah.
And so it will take a while, years to ramp that up. And then again, there's so much more demand, both on the commercial side and the defense side, that it's going to be very hard to keep up with.
Yeah. And I guess where demand and supply don't tally, that has an impact on pricing as well. So is that something FDH is able to do to protect your customers from prices going to levels which they can't sustain?
Yeah, but that's our job in the middle is holding that inventory, and buying large quantities, and buying the larger quantities that we can sell to multiple customers.
Yeah.
Helps each customer, and it also helps the manufacturer.
Yeah.
So by doing that, we're providing a benefit to everyone in the supply chain.
So you've got to balance the inventory you hold versus.
Yeah, but that's our job. That's part of the value.
That's the expertise you bring to the business.
Exactly. Yeah.
Let's talk about sort of the full life cycle aspect of every component. To what degree is that becoming more important? Again, it comes back down to visibility, to knowing what you've got. You're not giving yourself problems for the future. So again,
when you say life cycle, like from the OEM to the aftermarket?
Yeah, it is. It's knowing what it is that you've actually got. So you've got traceability, you've got transparency.
Yeah, absolutely. Those things obviously are table stakes, but I think more important is supporting an OEM customer, supporting that platform, and then eventually as the fleet grows, the sustainment needs also grow, and supporting that sustainment, which can be very volatile and has very short timelines to meet that demand. And so keeping up with the OEM and then keeping up with the aftermarket sustainment programs that support that airplane when it's starting to be used. So it's a challenge, but I think we've got the people and the expertise to do that.
Yeah. So for FDH, for your division of FDH Hardware, where do you look to innovate yourselves? How can you get better at this, and where are you bringing in either new technologies or innovations to improve your service?
We've spent a lot of time on technology, and that's technology to make our existing team more productive, which benefits both the manufacturer and the OEM. And we've been fairly successful in making our team more productive. That's keeping the experts and using their time wisely to be focused on, parts and sources versus necessarily more manual data or gathering data from multiple sources. And so technology can help us be more productive and help us attend to more customers.
Yeah. I guess there's a lot of data in the industry, and so AI can help with at least understanding that data, and maybe not totally. There's got to be humans in the loop, but AI can actually help to cut through some of the noise in the data.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think that's obviously a very broad term.
Yeah.
And what does that mean specifically has to be experimented with and used on practical situations. And so we've been very big on sort of bottoms up experiments to figure out where to use it and how to get productivity. And we think that's the right way to do it.
Yeah. So when you're dealing with airlines, I guess you're always listening to their feedback as to what it is that they want, and any trends. This week has been an opportunity to speak to some of your customers. What kind of things are you hearing at the minute?
I think we've heard a lot about continuing to ramp, and that more demand is coming and we need to be ready. And then we've also heard a lot about service.
Yeah.
And the distributors have to provide service, and that's really, really important. And for us, the feedback is, we love you guys and we love that level of service. We need you to maintain that.
Yeah.
And that's our mission.
Yeah. Obviously this year there's been external shocks that often are in aviation. We kind of learn to live with that. If the industry survived COVID, it could survive any sort of big external shock. what does how does FDH cope with those things that you can't really foresee that come along and do impact the industry inevitably?
Yeah. Oh, we're a big company, but we pride ourselves on acting like a small, agile, flexible company. And that's part of you talked about what differentiates us. We react quickly. We empower our regional leaders to make decisions, and that's very different than some of the competition. And we pride ourselves on being able to move very, very fast. So you can't predict everything, but if you can move quickly once something happens, that's a huge benefit.
So do you see very distinct regional demand patterns, do you? It's not a kind of blanket situation across...
Each region is different. The needs and the demands are different, and being close to the customer matters a lot.
Yeah. And what kind of factors determine that demand pattern? So is it the types of fleet being used in certain parts of the world, or the environments in which they're being operated?
Well, and some of the programs are so vast and have so many different subcontractors. Manufacturing is now sort of moved, it's global.
Yeah. And
being able to follow those programs all over the world is really, really important. So having that expertise and knowing where to look and knowing where to have the team it matters a lot.
Yeah. If you had a magic wand and could solve the biggest issue in your sector in distribution, what do you think? What would you prioritize solving tomorrow if you were able to have your own way?
Well, I think as a problem solver in the middle, it's really not about us. It's about solving problems for our OEM customers, and that's capacity. And that's not a new or an insightful comment, but there is a high demand for parts to keep up with those lines, and that's what they need. Yeah.
The other thing that differentiates you is that you're one of our winners of our Best Places to Work in Aviation awards for the past, I think you were the past 2 years. One of the original winners, and then you won again last year, and I believe you registered again for this year. So fingers crossed. I'm sure you will. I'm sure you will retain your status. So how important is it that the people? We've talked about technology and systems, and that's all great. But this is a people business. All businesses are really people businesses. How important is it that you've got the right people? In the company.
We have invested a lot in our culture and our people. We believe we have the very best team in the industry. We have brought together what we think is the very best team. Expertise matters a lot.
So industry experts.
Industry expertise, part expertise, supplier relationships. It is. Distribution, especially in this industry, the people matter a lot. It's the most important thing.
Yeah.
And so we take that seriously. And I think you can see that in our culture, and you can see that in the team that we've brought together.
Yeah. So we're here today. It's day 3 of Farnborough. It feels like it's been a very busy show.
Yes, extremely busy.
It's a large show, and so for it to feel busy means there's lots of people here.
Yeah.
How have you? What do you take away from the last 3 days? Everyone always tends to come away from these things positive and optimistic because people like being together, and people talk positively when they're together. But what do you come away from this year feeling particularly positive, particularly enthused about the future?
I think there's going to be a lot of challenges, but it really comes down to there is more demand coming.
Yeah.
And we need to be ready for that. And we think we've built the best platform in the world to support that. So we're confident but humble in our strategy.
Yeah.
And we're excited to continue to support our customers and partner with our suppliers.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, having more demand is never necessarily but it's better than the opposite problem of having too little demand. So So look, Matt, thanks for inviting us to stand. Yeah. And we wish you the best for the future.
Okay.
We'll see you again soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.